So I think the question in itself, for me, it's a misunderstanding. I don't think that black women and black men are against each other. I think, you know, just being human, sometimes we're afraid to have certain conversations. So like if I do something that offends you, you may not want to say it based off of how you was raised, but you know, I wouldn't say that it has any reason to do because you're black. You know, I don't think that has anything to do with it. And, you know, watching my mother and my father interact and watching my mother raise me, you know, that's also why I say I don't think we're against each other. You know, it's just a misunderstanding. Maybe you had something happen in your past that, you know, made this, and maybe it's a global thing. So it's not just something you going through. Maybe it's something we all going through. And so it looks like, okay, black women are against black men, but we are individuals. You know, I wouldn't box myself to be a black man because I'm more than that. You know, so it's not just a black thing, it's universal. So that's my take on the question.
Okay, Carlos?
Okay, I have a lot to say about the topic, but first I'm gonna start off with, I think we have to go back to like post-slavery with the dynamic of like the black family and the black mom and dad. So after slavery, I think that like in the black America, we reached a point in time where it was like, okay, black family is booming, you got wife, you got husband, and then the 1960s, 70s came around where they introduced drugs, and they basically institutionalized black men. So they took black men out of homes, and once you did that, it kind of messed up the dynamic of families and relationships. So if you take the dad out, then you got mom, and you got mom trying to raise a son, you got mom trying to raise a daughter, but there's no dad. So you're missing that structure of kind of the masculinity of it. So then you end up raising sons that don't know how to show the masculine side, but then also, I guess, be feminine in a way, not in a like a homosexual type of way, but I think that we all have like masculinity and femininity inside of us. So you end up raising men where like they don't know how to control their emotions. So either they're just always lashing out, or you know they're a little bit too feminine, or whatever the case may be. And then the women, they end up being more aggressive. So you got like it kind of like switches roles in some cases. And so when you're raising that and you're raising trauma, and this is like within the black community, then it kind of puts down what we should be. And I don't think that Roman's wrong. I think that for one, just the mistrust is universal. But I also think that ours is specific to what we've been through in America. I'll go into one more, and then I have 4 different things to talk about, but I'll just go into one more for now. I'll talk about the like young relationships. I think a lot of time we start getting into relationships young, like at 15, 14 years old, you start your first relationship, maybe 17, 18, but you're dealing with somebody who's still not emotionally mature enough to know how to deal with these different emotions. And so whether they had a mom and dad or not, first you start off with that, and then like with me, I had a mom and dad, but still, when I first started dating, I was looking at girls to like, basically, like my first girlfriend set the example of what girls were supposed to be and what they would be to me. So if she was to cheat on me, then from that point on, for me, it was like all girls are cheaters. But I mean, if she would have been loyal to me, then it would have been like, okay, all girls are loyal. So I think that those two dynamics kind of play a role in how we are with each other. But with that being said, I'll let somebody else go, and we'll come back around to me.
Okay, so the reason why I feel like black men and women are at war, in addition to systematic racism having something to do with it, I really respected your points, is a lack of accountability. I feel like when a black woman says she feels like she's not being protected or taken care of or loved properly, there's always a debate behind that. It's always but we're doing X, Y, and Z instead of fixing the issue. And I have a problem with that, because there should never be a debate about me being asked to be treated like a human, about me being asked to be respected and given the same things that black women have been giving to black men without them even asking for generations. I also feel like I can only speak from the perspective of a black woman, so I can honestly say that there are points where I feel like I've had no choice but to woman up, to get my shit together, and to kind of stop asking a man for help, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of ironic for me, because I actually learned how to get up, hustle, take care of myself, do what I had to do because of my father. But at the same time, there's like, I would say kind of a certain level of distrust that I've seen amongst other black women in the community, because we're just tired of getting hurt. And it's like, okay, at some point we had to decide to do it for ourselves. What you won't give to me, I'm gonna figure out and make a way for myself, and that just is what that is. And it's not a disrespect thing. I still, I have a lot of black men in my life that I truly respect. I've seen treat black women properly, but I've also been on the other side of the totem pole way too often, and that's not fair to me. I also feel like it's a pride thing. Like, people have this major issue with just admitting where they mess up at, admitting that I have an issue in this specific area and growing from it. And I feel like the longer that we continue to focus on not correcting the things that we know that we're doing wrong that aren't contributing positively to our communities, the worse off we'll be. Like, it's not fair for us to continue to have to voice ourselves to not get any kind of results. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm tired of opening my mouth and saying that I'm tired of something and it not being changed. And when it comes down to a black man, I feel like black men are tired of, so us being bitter as a result of how we've been treated has a lot to do with now why black men feel like, okay, well, y'all rude, y'all disrespectful, y'all got attitudes all the time. But it's like, neither side is right, because at some point we have to choose to heal from that and move forward and realize that there are black men out there that are willing to take care of us. But at the same time, I feel like the black man has to understand the trauma that we've suffered, and that at some point we had to protect ourselves and build some kind of barrier, you know?
Can I add in on that?
Yeah, figure it
Okay,
out.
cool. I definitely agree with you, and sometimes I try to take time and figure out, like, you know, where did these things start? Because so oftentimes we can have these conversations, but I don't think we can really get a remedy for it until we realize, like, where we came from and where it started. And one thing I was kind of thinking about having conversations with individuals like ourselves was a lot of black men, especially go back, you know, further in time, probably our grandfathers and great grandfathers, they felt like they weren't seen, they weren't heard, and they were fighting to make their own names and stuff and provide for families at a time when maybe the women weren't working. And what can imagine is